kind of go. I mean, obviously, both of us were limited, sadly.
Yeah, sadly, Patriots couldn't get it done first time.
So I mean, kind of like with your game, I stayed for probably three-fourths of it. Charlie updated me the rest of it, but sadly, it kind of sounded like the ending of your other two games.
Yeah, the exact same play as the last one. A rollout to my right, interception. Well, it was an interception this time. Last time it was a deflection, and of
Yeah,
course it has to go to my cousin Ryan. It just has to be that one person.
you're
But
just padding his defensive player of the year
oh,
stats. I
tell
hope you
me,
know
yeah,
that.
just had to go to Ryan.
Just had to go to Ryan. I mean, you guys were toe and toe the entire time, weren't you? Just going back and forth the entire
Um,
play.
the second going into the second half, I think we were on two touchdowns,
Okay.
and we had one of our sparks that we normally have. And I think we had the lead at one point,
Okay.
and then something happened after that. Our
Yeah.
defense wasn't too hot. Could have
Yeah.
done better, definitely.
I mean, I don't think it was probably terrible. I mean, they scored what 65 points. I think they've been scoring in the high 70s or
They,
something like that.
I think so. I think their lowest games have been against us.
Yeah. Because if I remember, I don't have it on me, or maybe I do. I'll have to pull up the. I was like not unprepared for this week, but I was like, oh, there was only two games. I don't have to do a lot. Kind of forgetting that I have to remember the rest of the season too. But I mean, yeah, looking at let me pull up theirs. They scored yeah, I mean their lowest point totals came against you guys. They only scored 36 against the Chargers in week 2, but other than that, I mean they scored 48 and 42 against you guys in the first two matchups.
Well,
Um
to be fair, that Chargers game, I subbed in for it. They only had like five of their players,
okay.
and I know one person walked out mid game. I know
Got
Isaac talked
oh,
about that.
that's right. Yeah, I do remember that. Okay. So that was something different. Um, okay. I mean, for our game, it as much as I want to try and take a high note, I guess, it was just
I,
not good.
I was, to be fair, I was expecting more of a game because I was in y'all with y'all before the game,
Yeah.
and y'all were like ready to go. I'm like, this is gonna be a close game,
Yeah.
and then just a lot of unfortunate sequence of events for y'all on defense.
So the thing that got us, and at least for surprised me the most, so I didn't play against the Chargers in the regular season. I missed that game. So I didn't really know what they ran. I kind of was just kind of playing by ear and going off of other people in the league. But they blitzed the crap out of us, and we just didn't have time to do anything. So they would send either one or two people on a blitz. And I love Joe to death, but he's not the most agile
Yeah, he was
when
the
it comes when it comes to escaping the pocket. So I mean, we had a solid second and a half, 2 seconds to get rid of the ball. And so that stalled probably our first four drives. And I mean, when you go three and out, they automatically get the ball at the 50. So then it's just a complete short field from there. So I don't even know what the score was at halftime. I think it was like 42-7 or
It
6 or
was
something.
36. It was 36 or 37 at half.
Yeah.
Um, but y'all really didn't get anything on offense until y'all
No,
hit the
say
red.
I had yeah, I had one touchdown in the first half, but that was just kind of a go ball
Yeah.
that I mean, I just kind of got a favorable matchup and I kind of I just played it right. I like did just a one step screen and then noticed my corner kind of came up and I just ran right by him. So, I mean, it wasn't really designed, but so we definitely were struggling. I mean, we even were trying to figure out like, do we run the ball? Do we go with the two quarterback system? That's when we come up with Blaine, and we were like, I
Yeah.
mean, you give us at least a chance to like if you can scramble out or do something.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, even defensively, we tried to match up with them, and they just had some dogs that we just couldn't
I know
keep up
with
with.
when we played them. Of course, they didn't have Josh and Joe, which are
Mhm.
two key players for them. And
Mhm.
I've talked to Josh. He's my cousin. I talk to him a
Yeah.
lot, and he says we would have blitzed you. And we all know how normally when I get blitzed, I freak out. And but I think that was their goal the whole season. I saw it the whole season them blitzing,
Yeah.
except for against Riley. They really didn't blitz.
Right. And that was kind of when we played the Ravens. Not that it was any sort of game at all, but and I mean, we were like, we definitely cannot blitz Riley. I
Yeah,
mean that if we do, it's got to be a perfect matchup, and yeah, it just wasn't favorable at all. So I mean, obviously with your guys, Ravens getting the win 65-51, advancing to the championship game. And then our game, Chargers getting the win 61-32, advancing to the championship game as well. Um, Before I kind of talk about the championship game, I kind of want to scroll to kind of give a shout out to our wild card Pro Bowl selections again, like I did last week. So from the Oilers, you got Mark, Ashton, Dan, and Evan, all really great players. And then from the Chiefs, you got Will, Dawson, Chris, and Cam. Um, both of those teams definitely. I mean, you obviously played the Oilers, and you guys were that was a game for you guys in that first round.
man, we went into that game like, all right. We last time we played them, it was like we put up 80 on them, so we really weren't concerned.
Hmm.
No offense to the Oilers, we really weren't
Yeah,
concerned. But man, Brady and Ashton were picking us apart on offense. And normally we're pretty good and solid on defense with
yeah,
our zone and man. And but man, they were picking us apart.
right,
We really were caught off guard, but then we really started kicking in the second half, and
yeah.
we pulled
I mean,
away with it.
yeah, I mean, you guys pulled away with the end with a couple interceptions that ended in touchdowns or a touchdown drive. And then, I mean, they just turned it up a notch. Like, Ashton gave us troubles during our game with him. I think he picked us off like 3 times, and 2 of them went for points, whether it be a 2 point or a touchdown. So, I mean, that was a problem for us all year, but they definitely weren't a bad team.
They weren't, especially when
uh,
it came to playoff time.
Uh-huh. But we played the Chiefs that first round, and all four of those guys gave us problems. I mean, Cam going deep every play, we had to kind of dedicate 2 guys to him. When Will came in at quarterback, we literally like we can't blitz anymore. Like this, like he's just gonna break my ankles as soon as I try. Chris picked us off and just had some pass deflections, and then Dawson is like, surprisingly shifty.
He is. First ever time I laid eyes on Dawson, I'm like, he's like, he, he's a heavier set guy, but he starts to move. It's like, how do you stop this?
Exactly. He doesn't play like it at all.
Yeah,
I couldn't keep up with him, but I'm not sure if there's going to be any substitutions for them. Haven't heard kind of on that front yet, but I guess we'll see this upcoming week. But kind of moving on to our semifinal Pro Bowl selections, and I am happy to report that me and you are both on
I know. Yes, sir.
it. So I appreciate the other team for the respect on that one. Um, Feeling like I played decently in that game. But for the Texans, it'd be myself, Xavier, Joe, and Caleb, all making the Pro Bowl. And then for you guys, the Patriots, it'd be yourself, Kevin, JMO, and Eli. I think definitely a really good group of players. Um, you guys, I mean, all four of you guys, I had problems with and nightmares about. I mean, when we played you guys, we were like, we got to figure out a defense that can stop both Kevin and JMO at the same time.
Yeah, but I do have some sad news to report.
Okay.
I'm the only one that's in that group that's going. We have
Okay.
Connor and Charlie's going to replace, so we need to find another person for Eli.
Okay. Got you. Got
So
you.
just want to throw that out there.
Gotcha. No, I know there was discussion even on our side about some players not able to make it. I think Caleb's still up in the air. Me and Joe will definitely be there. And I think Xavier sadly is getting his wisdom teeth out.
Awesome.
So it sounds like an excuse to me, but
Zay always with his excuses.
I guess we'll allow it. So, no, definitely all around all great players. As I said, had problems with all you guys. I tried to guard. I said it in a previous episode. I will not guard Kevin. I've avoided it my like every season that I've been here. I'm like, nope, I'm just not gonna do it. I'll play safety over top of him, but I'm not
Yeah,
guarding him one on one. There's no point. I'm not climbing that ladder. JMO, I tried to guard him during our game, and I literally looked at Isaac to a point, and I even told JMO because I think he complained about it one time. I literally was like, I'm gonna hold him every play. You can call it if you want to, and I'll take the 5 yards. But I don't know what else you want me
he's a
to
football
do.
player. J-Mo's
Yeah.
a football player. I mean, sad to say this, but half of our touchdowns this season, we just dumped it off to him. He just took off. Yeah. But from Kevin's standpoint, I've guarded Kevin, I think, once.
hmm
He got me, but Kevin can't really get off the ground. I
Yeah,
I love giving crap to Kevin, especially.
yeah. He's 8 feet tall though, and I'm 5'8" on a good
Yeah,
day.
I'm only 6 foot. I think he's 6'6". He's still got 6 inches on me.
Yeah. No, all really good players. I'm excited for that. Even though I know, like you said, Charlie and you said Connor
Yeah,
are
Con.
coming in.
And
Both
I'm
both
sorry
sneaky
about
good.
that. We're waiting for JMO to respond to see if he was going to do it. We haven't got a word on that yet.
No, you're good. You're good. You're
I
good.
know Connor
Still
and Charlie are replacing Eli and Kevin.
gotcha. I mean, still really good players. Like I said, you guys had an all around really good team. So there wasn't anybody that we were like, all right, maybe we can pick on them on defense or
I
like
think
try and
it's
get a mismatch. Especially because you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys played like a cover two zone on your
uh,
defense.
what we would do is if we'd always start with zone, like the first, and then if like we noticed something about man would work, we would always switch to man.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like that two. We had that two scheme going, and it was really working, but not against Riley.
Not against Riley.
Riley always figured it out.
I've played against Riley every time. I mean, so me and Riley went to the same high school first freshman and sophomore year. He was a year below me.
Yeah.
But then he ended up moving away. But even then, like I knew how shifty he was. And then when I first started playing in this flag league, I was like, bro, I can't avoid this guy. Like I just I can't not like have to play against him for any reason. Um, so obviously he would have been obviously if you guys would have beat them, he would have been one of those Pro Bowl selections. But I know he is up for Offensive Player of the Year and has gotten a few MVP votes. Um, from what I've seen so far, which totally deserves it. That whole Ravens team is tremendous, tremendously good. And then the Chargers, I think, are just a well-rounded team. Um,
Really well rounded. I mean, they got the height and what's his name?
mhm.
I can't remember his name. Don't take offense to that. Um, but he's got the height just like Kevin. I think when we played them, we put Kevin on him.
Gotcha.
I just looked at Kevin. I said, just man him.
You got him all game.
Yeah. And everyone else, we just play man the whole time, and we let JMO
well,
over top.
and that's what kind of screwed us in some games. Um, we so we kind of went for speed more than height, and it kind of like it is good in some aspects just to get around people and get to like hit some crossing routes or even try and go deep a couple times. But I think the tallest guy on our team was Blaine.
Here,
I
I got.
mean, none of us. I think we're over 6'2", which isn't like tremendously tall. Like I said, I'm only 5'8", but I think that was kind of like the average on our team.
Yeah, Blaine's the tallest on your team.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, it that kind of didn't help us in some aspects. So we went more for speed, but um, kind of rolling through. Again, congrats to all the Pro Bowl selections. Hope to see all you guys there. Obviously, I know there will be some subs. But I kind of talked about it a little bit before. But the league awards voting is open. I've shared it with a few teams, kind of that I just had contacts with. So offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year is both open. For I think offensive player of the year has 5 options due to a tie. Defensive player of the year has 4 options. there are tiebreakers, but you can look at that on the form. And then MVP, you can write in anybody from the Chargers or Ravens. If you cast a vote for anybody outside of those teams, it will not be counted. That's just kind of the benefit of being the championship team. Um, so definitely, I'll put the link in the description, or if you want to reach out to me, I'm sure your captains will have it as well. Um, Voting will close about 10 minutes after the championship game. Um, so you can wait to get your votes in. You can edit your votes as well. But I'll close it about 10 minutes after the championship game. And after the game, I will announce the MVP, as well as offensive and defensive player of the years.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely excited for that. A bunch of guys on the list that I really do think deserve it. Um, but I kind of wanted to go past all those kind of quickly because I really just want to talk about the championship game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um, so Ravens currently favored by 1
Oh,
over
wow.
the Chargers this week. I don't remember what the actual score was. I want to say it was like 57-56 is what it was. The prediction was. Um, so Ravens favored by 1. So kind of what are your thoughts initially? I mean, you can give me the initial thoughts, who you think's going to win, whatever. Um, Obviously, it'll be one of the greatest games that we'll see, I believe.
Oh,
Um, I
definitely, no
mean,
doubt.
Chargers did hand the Ravens that their only loss in the regular season, like I said, in that week too. But as you said, Ravens didn't have all their players. It was kind of a down game for them. So Ravens still favored, but kind of what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Oh, I don't know. It can honestly go both ways. But I do after playing the Ravens 3 times, which is a difficult stretch.
Right.
I do think the Ravens are gonna get it because Dovon, he's extremely quick. He's kind of like he's a JMO, just a little shorter in my opinion. He
Right.
can he can make a play happen at any time. And then even if some Riley's not having a good game, I mean, you always have Ryan back there that can throw the ball. They just
Mhm.
have so many talented players, and especially with defense. I got Ryan on defense.
Right.
He's, he's amazing. I don't know why he played quarterback in high school. Um, but even Ryan and Riley, they're both great defensive players, and they're just so well rounded. But Chargers are also too, but it could be any given day. I've come to realize that their quarterback. I know here, I think 2 games he didn't have the best of games. I just feel like it will come down to the quarterbacks in that game
Okay.
because they both can put the ball on the dime.
I agree. I mean, Seth kind of just lit us up in our game. Like there just wasn't anything we could do. They were all getting open. Joe, Garrett, and Josh. Like it was constant, and they had Garrett coming out of the backfield a lot. I mean, they have a bunch of weapons for the Chargers, but when we played the Ravens, it was like you said, we couldn't stop Dovon at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even one of the plays I remember against you guys this past week, I don't remember if it was like a dump off to Dovon or something like that, but he just made your entire team miss. And not like I said, no disrespect to you guys at all, because you're a great team, but it was just him. He just made plays, and I think he got stopped at like the 2 yard line or something like that.
Um,
And
I know what play you're talking about. In my opinion, I think that was a touchdown. It didn't look
I
like
do, I do too, but
it did not look like his flag got pulled at all, or he stepped out.
yeah,
I will give that one to Dovine. I'm pretty sure that's a touchdown. But either way, after a touchdown, they gave the Tave.
yeah,
Um, that's another guy you can mention, Tave.
yeah.
He's just like Rel. I mean, Rel and Tave are basically the same player. They're big body. They can big body anybody.
I
He's
mean, like, yeah. I mean, Tave went up a couple times on us and just went for a jump ball. And like you said, we can't climb the ladder at all. And I mean, like you said, just the big body getting into space. It was effective against us. It's 100%. I mean, Ryan and Isaac kind of did a great job drafting their team. I know they gave up a couple picks.
I will say this: Ryan did not have a part in drafting that team.
Was it all Isaac?
It was all Isaac. Ryan was on vacation when the draft happened. That's all I've heard from Isaac.
Well, I just don't like giving Isaac credit as much.
I
Okay.
hate it too, but I gotta give him credit. He
I
just
do. I do. Now I love Isaac. I was about to leave and I forget who I was next to. And there was like just a fade to Isaac and he was just completely wide open.
that was me.
And was it?
It was me. Okay, I can explain. I tripped over my feet and I just looked back and Isaac's gone and I'm like, there's nothing I can do. I just turn around and look at Kevin and Kevin's like, what the heck?
Oh my god. No, I Isaac's a great player and just I've wanted to guard him ever since. So when we were at our game with him, I was like, I'm guarding you all game. I don't care. I don't want you to catch anything. And he obviously did, but I thought it was so funny. So my first league or first season playing was the fall league last year. I was on Isaac's team and he ended up, I believe, Isaac, correct me if I'm wrong, but breaking his ankle on a play, and he sent me the picture of it at 4 o'clock today. Not of his ankle, but of the spot, because I think he was called out of bounds. But he has the picture of the divot that his foot made that was in bounds. And he was like, a year ago today, I almost toe tapped for a TD.
I
Oh my
joined about
God.
this. I think I do remember this because I joined last year. It was like midway through the season. Josh got me in there. I subbed
Yeah.
for his team. Um, but yeah,
No, yeah. I I just thought that was so funny, but I both teams have incredible weapons. I mean, I do think I think it'll be a toss up. Right now, I don't know what I almost want to lean towards the Ravens. I'm so sorry, Chargers. I know you just wiped the floor with us, but I do think it will be like that 1 point game. Um, and I think it might be just something that might come down to like a Dovon literally just scrambling the entire field. Or something like that. But I got to give credit to that Chargers defense as well. Um, Joe is an absolute dog, and it was frustrating our team immensely. So, I mean, I know in our game and your game, tempers flared for a little bit. And I mean, I think it's just our passion for the game that gets kind of translated to aggression. So,
I
but
think
I
our
mean,
game. I think
we'll
our game was just we didn't want to lose to the Ravens for a third time.
exactly. And I mean, our game, all of us are just so passionate about this. So it's like it gets turned into aggression sometimes, and we just got to chill. But I mean, Joe was like, we got into halftime. I'm like, I don't know. Like, he's just good. I don't know what to tell you. So, I mean, him and Josh have that defense kind of locked down. And even Corbin. Corbin guarded me probably half the game and stayed there right there with me. And he's kind of like a linebacker type dude.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And I mean, I'm like, all right, maybe I can get him on a couple routes, like a drag or kind of a whip route or something like that. But he stayed with me the entire time. And so I couldn't really get an edge on a bunch of their players. But I mean, I do kind of agree. I don't know if the Chargers can blitz as much on Riley as they have in the past. I think they might have some trouble in that aspect. As well, kind as well as like covering all of the weapons that the Ravens have at the same time. So, well, obviously, if you give up that blitzer, you're giving up a free safety and coverage, or you're giving up something, a spy, whatever, as well as you're allowing Riley to run the ball. Um, so I mean, but kind of on the flip side, like when it's talking about the Chargers' offensive production, it's just they're they will just trickle their way down the field, even if it's just throwing 5 yard outs or something. They don't really go for that long play. They kind of just take what that defense gives you, and I think if they can avoid throwing it to Ryan as much as possible, um, and because I know Ryan likes to play that high safety and play that jump ball, kind of in that cover two or cover one. Um, I think they got a lot better of a shot, but like I said, I think that spread of 1 point, I think is going to be the difference, and it kind of could be a coin flip at the same time.
Yeah, it could go either way. E- Even if they do get Dovon covered, I mean, they got I think it's Riley's little brother.
Yeah,
They got him, and he's been a weapon for them too. They just
right,
that team's all. It's just a really good team. It's hard to beat.
right, right. Um, well, obviously, I mean, like I said, I knew this would be kind of a shorter talk. I mean, I the championship game will be exciting. I don't want to take too much more of your time. But if anybody is interested, so me and Mark, so I will obviously be at the Pro Bowl game as well as Mark playing in as well as you, Clayton. But
Yes, sir.
m- me and Mark will be doing a kind of like a live commentary of the game, the championship game. Feeling like a little college football game day. Um,
We jump
in
in.
that sense. So we'll definitely be doing a panel of judges, seeing what our predictions are, everything like that, keys to the game. So I'm excited for that. Um, but no, I mean, I think it'll be an exciting game. I do, like I said, I think it'll be that 1 point difference. It'll just be kind of keys of like, can the Chargers play their game as well as can the Ravens kind of just execute and not get frustrated when things maybe don't go their way. Because I didn't really see, obviously, the Chargers, like I said, wiped the floor with us. So they didn't really have a wavering moment, but I also know they kind of they're really good at sticking together. The Ravens, I did know it kind of teetered at times when maybe things weren't going their way, passes, whatever, calls, whatever. So I think it's, can the Ravens stick together and execute, and can the Chargers just play their game? Um, so I'm definitely excited. But I will kind of finish it out and say, who, I've done it with every guest, who is your MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year? I don't know if you voted or not yet. You don't have to say who you voted for,
I
but
have, and I will say who
okay.
I voted for. Besides
Okay.
MVP, I'm still kind of iffy on it.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Defensive player of the year is kind of a no doubter. It's kind of Ryan.
Oh yeah, I voted for
He's
Ryan.
he's crazy with his interceptions. Even when he guards someone, he's got him on lockdown.
Right.
Um, Offense player, I don't know if this y'all can see it as biased. I don't see it as biased, but JMO.
Hmm.
Me and JMO could take the ball and he can just jump anywhere and everywhere, and he'll be in the end zone
Right.
before you know it. MVP, I am. I wish I could vote JMO. I would vote JMO if he was in, if we made it to the finals because,
Right.
like I said. But MVP, it's either between Joe, Josh, or Riley.
Okay.
You can even throw Dovon in there if you want
You
to.
can throw Dove on. I mean, a bunch of people might wait and see how that game plays out and just see who that playmaker is.
hmm I think
So
that kind of determined who's your MVP is that championship game.
I agree. I mean, you got a bunch of candidates. You probably got half of each team that could be considered for it.
Right.
Um, so I just hope both teams show up. And I do think it'll be kind of a shootout, even if it's high 60s kind of game. Um, I think those defenses are going to have some trouble stopping each other, especially with how much open space. I mean, we only play 5 players on each side, and that field is pretty big at times.
That game.
So I definitely think it'll be a shootout, but I'm excited. But man, I appreciate you coming on for a little bit. Um, but do you know, kind of a last question? Do you know how teams are going to work for Pro Bowl? I don't know if it's going to be.
I was going to ask you the same question. Oh no, I could talk. I'll text Charlie because he's on my team. I'll let
Okay.
you know about that.
Okay. Yeah, let me know. I'm sure we'll find out eventually. I didn't know if it was like the Chiefs and Texans are going to play the Patriots and Oilers, or if we're going to mix up teams or whatever. So
I think it'd be
no,
cool to have the captain, like a captain.
captain on each.
Yeah, and they select their team.
Yeah, we'll see. But now I appreciate you coming on, man. Taking the time to talk about it.
I mean,
Um, but hey, we'll see you Sunday, and I'm excited, man.
you get your little rematch against me after episode 10.
Exactly. I need those 3 interceptions you promised me.
I
Okay.
didn't promise you anything. You
I've
got
tried
your
to
one.
I've tried to negotiate with. I dropped a pick this week. I was so disappointed in myself. We were already down, but I dropped it. I'm so sad.
As I
Whatever.
say, you can't forget it.
I can't
Got,
forget it.
gotta catch it and look it in.
No, I appreciate you, man, and I'll see you Sunday.
All right, see you, man.
See you later.